All right, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Biz from an agent's perspective with your host, Zilam Bekela. It's hard to believe, man. We are already at episode number 7. If you didn't catch episode 6, make sure you go back and catch that, man. We had a guest on our show, professional rugby player Sbura Sitole, who sat down with us and basically talked to us about his rugby journey, his illustrious 10-year career in South Africa, the good, the bad, the ugly. But, just being in a content space that he's in now, playing in France. So he sat down and he shared all of that with us. So shout out to Sbura, man. Thank you once again for, gracing our podcast with your presence. We really had, an amazing time just chatting and basically just getting to find out firsthand about your journey. All right, so today's episode, I'll obviously be doing it by myself. I'll basically just be sharing today's topic with regards to, the business of sport. And I'll just basically be talking to you about today's topic. All right. But before we do that, let's run a promotion first. All right. We got to pay the bills. So I always have to run promotions with regarding to products that we promote on our platform. All right. And today we are going to be promoting limitlessathlete.net. All right. Limitless Athlete is basically a platform. It's an up and coming social media platform whereby semi-professional and professional, athletes can connect with clubs on the platform. So it's a platform that can be used by both players and clubs, where they can actually sign up and interact with each other through having each other's contact details on their profile pictures. So an example would be an athlete who's maybe looking for a club. What they do is they sign up on the platform, and then they list all their credentials and contact information on their profiles. All right, and the profiles are visible. So this makes it for clubs that are looking for players easier for them to identify this player, their playing history, what they've done, and they can be able to get in contact with the player. So we definitely advise that if a player is to sign up, make sure you advertise and market yourself well. All right. Put all your videos. There's a place where you can attach a video of yourself playing. That would be very, very important for you to do. And also make sure you list your credentials on your profile. And most importantly, don't forget your contact details. Okay. And then same thing goes for the club, that if a club wants to sign up, they can sign up on the platform and they can put the club credentials, where the club is based, and then also their contact details, for example, email or phone number that the player can call. All right. So limitlessathlete.net was created as a platform that allows athletes to basically have direct contact with clubs. Okay. It's a place where the agent is not involved. The agent sort of takes a back step with this platform, and actually allows the club and the player to, sort of get in contact with each other if they need each other's services. All right. The agent that is available on the platform is there to serve as a consultant. So the contact details are there on the platform. So if a player maybe needs advice regarding their resume, gym programs, nutrition plans, and basically what to negotiate for, they can upgrade on the platform, and then they will receive services from a registered agent. But when the agent is able to assist the player will still retain all earnings. The agent is not going to charge commission. All right. So that is the advantage of using this platform. So make sure, if you're a soccer player or football player or rugby player, make sure you get on the platform. And if you're a rugby club and a football or soccer club, get on the platform so that, you can be able to recruit so much easier without the intermediary help of an agent. Okay. All right. So that is the platform. And another advantage or feature of the platform is that there is an online digital marketing course which is available on the platform. Okay. Now, we understand that, athlete schedules, training schedules, and all of that, they can be a bit hectic. So that's why we created this course to be able to suit an athlete's schedule. Once an athlete purchases the course, they can take their time in order to complete it. And once they're done, they're able to receive a certificate that confirms that they have taken part in a digital marketing course. All right, so now skills that are offered in this digital marketing course, which would be very helpful for any player, after their playing career, is that you can learn how to design websites, and as we move towards this digital era, having tech skills has become such an important skill to have. So being able to design websites would be a very good skill for any player to have for their post-playing career, because with that you can actually either work for a company or start your own business, building websites for other businesses, whether small, medium, or large, if you can. All right. And then another skill that you can learn on our online digital marketing course is you can learn social media marketing. Now, with social media marketing comes, learning about paid advertising campaigns on social media. So that would be using, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Line if you're in Asia, and any other platform. You could actually use their paid functions on running paid advertising campaigns. All right. This is a very good skill to have as well. And again, it's a skill that you could use either as to work for yourself or to work with a company. Other skills that you could also learn on the platform on our online digital marketing course is you can learn social media content creation. That would be creating content that allows users to engage basically when introducing your product or company's product. So that's another great skill to have. Search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is actually one of the most crucial skills to have currently when you're learning about digital marketing, because if you start a business, all right, and you know about SEO, then you'll be able to actually drive traffic towards your site. So search engine optimization, that would include blogging. Every time you blog or talk about your site, what Google does or any search engine does is it starts to rank your website higher. So that means that if a person's looking for your services or product or something similar, your website will pop up on their Google engine because of search engine optimization. So this is a very important skill to have when you're starting up, if you decide to go solo and start your own business. Okay, so these are digital marketing skills that can really allow you to get started on your journey. And then other skills that are included in the course as well is using Google paid ads, and as well as building websites, but now with an added feature of streaming. So you will actually learn how to build a streaming website. So you could actually have the skills to build your own Netflix or your own YouTube. All right. So these are very, very, very helpful skills that we teach in our online course. And we created them specifically for athletes because we know that, when you have a professional sporting career, sometimes it can really take a lot of your time, which I don't actually believe, because I believe when you're an athlete, you actually have a lot of time to study. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to argue. But what we did with our course is we really designed it so that it's not too hectic on the schedule, and you can actually take your time and spread it out. So you can do it either over a couple of weeks or even over a couple of months. And then once you're done, you can get in contact with us. Our contact details are on the platform. And then you will receive your certificate. Okay. And yeah, so I definitely encourage it, man. Learning digital marketing skills is a skill that I learned when I got to the end of my sporting journey, and it totally changed my life, man. I know how to design websites. I know how to design streaming websites. I know all about, search engine optimization. It's helped me in my journey of starting my own business, my own sports agency, which also includes publishing as well. It's really helped me. These tech skills have really changed my life. So I definitely endorse it and I encourage it for every single individual. You can be an athlete, or if you're not an athlete, you can still take the course as well. We don't only limit it to athletes, but we created it primarily for athletes. And that is why it is on our platform on www.limitlessathlete.net. All right. And for those who are boffins who want to learn extra and need extra material, we also have a digital marketing book manual, which is available on Amazon.com. The title of the book is The Future Looks Digital, and the author is Zila Mbekela. All right. It was written by yours truly because I am a qualified marketer. I studied marketing as an undergrad degree. And I did marketing as part of my Master 1 in International Business Management. I had marketing courses. And then when I came to the end of my rugby career, I studied an advanced online digital marketing course. So all the knowledge that I share and give back over there is knowledge that will really help you on your digital marketing journey. And the best thing about all of this is that the course, the online course, and the book manual on Amazon are actually linked, so you can cross-reference from either one. All right. So that is what I wanted to run a promotion on, because when it comes to education and skill, for athletes, I'm really passionate about this topic because I know that it is a necessity. Your sporting career will come to an end, and it's very important to have the skills for your life after sport. Having a skill will give you purpose when the lights, turn off at the stadium. You'll have drive and energy to pursue something else. And who knows, you might actually like it. I find technology to be fascinating. And I think when you're someone who's in a space like, athletics and everything, things that are creative would be more your vibe. But, I know we're not all the same. And again, this is for those who have an interest in things that are digital and who would like to pursue a career in digital marketing after their playing career. All right, so now let's move on to today's topic. And today's topic is actually something that involves agents and players. All right, we're going to talk about marketing players to clubs. All right, so this is it's a very interesting topic because as much as it should be a simple process. Let me say that. Some people really make it fucking difficult. They really make it fucking impossible, and it can really, I don't want to say ruin your day, but it can really mess up your day. Not ruin it, but it can really hinder your day. Because of someone really, overlooking a very important step when it comes to marketing players to teams. All right, so let's start with agents. Now, as an agent, when you're approaching a team and you have a client that you want to introduce to them, the most important thing is to really make sure that all the resources that you need to market the player are available. Okay, so that means that you need to have an up-to-date CV or profile regarding the player that you will present to the club. Okay, you can't present a player's profile that was last updated 3 or 4 seasons ago. It needs to constantly be up to date about the latest teams that the player has played for. It's extremely crucial. Now, in a sport like, I'll start with football. Let's have a look at soccer. So in soccer, they're actually way ahead of the curve because they have this thing called transfer market. So that means that when a player turns professional, doesn't matter what level, let's say maybe it could be 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, Premier Division, it doesn't matter. So long as they turn professional, what happens is their data is loaded onto this platform called Transfer Market. Okay, and then all their stats are put there and all their previous teams are also put there so that when a player comes to you, and some players do this, they come to you and they fucking claim that they played for this team, you can just go on Transfer Market and their whole profile will be pulled up. And you'll be able to see if this guy's bullshitting you or not. Because some players do fucking lie. They do lie, and it really does get tedious, because what they don't understand is when you are dishonest about yourself and misrepresenting yourself. Now, I'm speaking to players now. If you are misrepresenting yourself to agents and claiming certain teams and lying, you really do mess up your reputation with agents. Okay? So just be honest about the teams that you played for. Because as agents, it's our job to do our due diligence. So we are going to find out if you've lied about playing for a certain team or not. You know, I've had guys reach out to me, man, on LinkedIn. And a guy will tell me that, you know, he's played for Birmingham, which is a big club in England. Fine, you know, I'll acknowledge that. But I always go online and I check on Transfer Market. Come to find out the guy played for Birmingham under 23. That's another very important point, guys, is that you have to mention, if it was an age grade team, you have to be honest and mention that, all right, I played for this team under 23 or under 21 or under 19 or whatever age group or reserve team or whatever. Don't just say the name of the team, because the impression that you're giving off is that you played for this team's first team, you know. And sometimes, honestly, our schedules as agents, man, sometimes we're really busy, and, you know, sometimes we might miss a certain detail and we present the player and it actually comes back to bite us in the ass. So please, players, I'm talking to you about this. When you are approaching an agent about seeking representation, make sure you are honest about the teams that you played for, because it will surface. Doesn't matter how good you are at covering it up. All right, now back to agents. So as agents, it's also important for us to, like I said in the previous statement, to do our due diligence, because when you present this player to a team, the team is not stupid, you know, especially if it's a team that, you know, that's looking for a player and let's say they're looking to sign him for 1.5 million US dollars. And then you come and present this player. You know, the team, they're going to do their research as well to make sure that this, you know, that everything that's been mentioned about this player checks out. And if there's one detail that as an agent that you have missed, man, your reputation is out the window, bruv. Your reputation is fucked. You know, because these are teams, you know, some of them that, you know, they have to really open up their salary cap. So now if they're going to be fidgeting around with their salary cap for something that's a lie, oh man, it's really not going to be a good look for you. And as a result, you see it going forward that when you actually make contact with that, you know, with a team, they don't want to deal with you anymore because that trust is gone. You know, the agency space, man, it's such a sensitive relationship that you build, or rapport that you build with teams, because the moment you breach or the moment, you know, you misuse their trust, it's hard to get that back. Now, teams sometimes understand that, you know, as the agent, you're also in the dark about certain, you know, details, especially when it's a player that's playing in another league overseas. That, of course, you're not going to know everything about them, but they at least expect you to know the fundamental details. For example, playing history. You know, that's the most important. Playing history, their transfer market value. You know, those are very important points that you cannot miss. You know, so any agent that's looking to come into the business, make sure that you're a person who pays attention to detail, because if you get excited every time a person comes to you and says, I played for, and mentions a big club's name, and fuck's sakes, you get all excited, you know, that's not going to be a good look for you. You're always going to fall for the trap, because a lot of guys out there are desperate for contracts, and they're willing to do whatever the fuck it takes, you know, to have at least a shot at getting in front of the team, even if it means lying. And they do not give a shit what that's going to do to your reputation. All right? So cover your own ass. It's very important. Very important. All right, so now let's talk. The next point I'm about to basically talk about. This refers to players more, because all of this is the player's responsibility to make sure that it gets to the agent. Now, when you're a player who's contacting an agent and is looking for representation, please understand, players, and this goes out to whether you're a footballer, whether you're a rugby player, whether you're a basketball player. Footage is very important, guys. It doesn't matter how impressive your transfer market value or your transfer market profile or your general resume that you've created or whatever platform you use to create your player CV. It doesn't matter how impressive or decorated it is. If there is no evidence that you can play, no team is going to sign you. In fact, teams are just going to turn a blind eye and move on to the next agent who has their players' footage. Again, I've had players reach out to me and get in contact, with me, begging me to, find them a club or get them trials with a club over here. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll bite. Where's your video footage? Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't have any footage. And I'm like, then how the fuck am I supposed to market you? Yeah, but I played for this club. It says so on my CV. I'm like, yeah, well, you could have easily made that up. Evidence is so important, guys. Evidence is so important. So players, before you want to turn pro, or if you are a pro and you're looking for an opportunity elsewhere, make sure that your video footage is available. All right? After you've played a game, after a season, reach out to your technical advisor at your guys' team or the guy in charge of the videos and everything, because I'm sure when you're playing professional, you always have video sessions where you look at your past mistakes from the previous game, etc., etc. So it's important to make sure that you become good friends with that person who's handling your guys' video footage, so that he can help you get access to all your videos that you need. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the moves that you want to make. It's very important, guys. And again, speaking about video footage, I understand that we are in the era or generation whereby highlights are everything. As much as an impressive video highlight, catches the attention of a team, no team is going to sign a player based off a 4 or 5 minute video clip. Unfortunately, no team is going to do that. Teams want to assess you. Teams want to assess your strengths, your weaknesses, your body language, your attitude off the ball, your reaction to things like adversity on the pitch, your rapport with your teammates. Are you a team player, or are you a player that, tries to do everything on their own? Some teams really pay attention to such detail. And again, this goes across all sporting codes that are team sports. They want to see how well you gel with your teammates, because they're trying to anticipate how well you could potentially fit into their team structure. That's how important it is, guys. So a team is not going to sign you on just 4 minutes of, sexy highlight videos. Because guess what? Any Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry can create, a decent highlight package that makes them seem like a freaking rock star. Teams want those full games. And this is not a new thing, guys. This has been going on forever. And I'm just going to tell you a short story about my experience. So I entered, a rugby institute or rugby academy in 2007. That was after my senior year of high school, or matric year. And from that time, something in me just always said, ask for video footage. So what I did was, at the end of that first season in 2007, I asked for all the games that I felt I played well. That was in the Under-19 Currie Cup for the Leopards. So I asked for all the games that I felt that I had done well. All right. And then the next year, obviously, I didn't get selected to play for the under-21 Leopards, but I played Leopard 7s, but I didn't ask for that footage because I didn't really want the 7s footage. Fine. So then I moved over to the University of Pretoria, Tuks Rugby Academy. And from there, I was able to get selected to play for the Falcons Rugby Union. And what I did was, and that was my under-21 year, that was the critical year. I was like, it's a make or break year. And you know what I did? After every single Currie Cup game, I would go and ask for video footage. So by the end of my under-21 season, I had video footage from my under-19 Currie Cup as well as my under-21 Currie Cup. So I had footage for days, man. And that's when I went to a friend of mine who could make video highlights, and he made a highlight video. But I always made sure that I had the full video games in case they would get asked for. And guess what happened? When I was on my quest to try and go overseas and getting in contact with agents and everything, they would ask for my full video footage, because they would always give me the feedback that, yeah, your highlights are good and everything, but teams are going to want to see the full games. And I would send them copies of my full games. You see, so from then on, man, I didn't know that I was actually learning about the whole recruitment process of how clubs recruit players and how important it is as an agent to ask for, an updated CV and update video footage. So that's the short little story I wanted to tell, that even back in 2009, I've always known the importance of all of this. And the funny thing is, no one taught it to me, guys. This was honestly instinct. I just anticipated that, okay, if I want to go play overseas, obviously teams are going to want to know, can this guy really play? An impressive CV and claiming this and mentioning that and mentioning this and mentioning that, that does fuck all for you with regards to teams from overseas. They want proof that you can play. So that's how important it is that if you are, as a player, going to reach out to an agent and ask for representation, have your highlight video, because that's your summary video that's going to catch the attention. It's basically like a commercial. And then you should have the full video, because that's the one that's going to show the team that, okay, this guy's legit. This guy is legit. We can work with this guy. All right? And that's how they make their decision, man. It's very important. All right, and then the last point with regards to video footage is make sure that your video footage is up to date. All right? Make sure your video footage is up to date. Again, I've had situations where I've had players reach out to me in desperation, and and I often feel so bad for either saying no to these guys or being blunt with them that, dude, I can't help you. Your video footage is from the prehistoric times. All right? And a scenario of this nature would basically be, I had a fellow agent, all right, no names mentioned. This was before the transfer window, who reached out to me. All right, so this guy reaches out to me. He's from one of the countries in Africa. He tells me that he used to be a professional footballer and now he's in the business side of sport as well. So he's an agent for X and X and X and X and X. And he's trying to look for an opportunity in Japan for his player. And again, because I like giving people a chance, I'm like, all right, fine. Send me his resume. He sends me the transfer market. I find out the guy, he's played for, I think he played for Barcelona at some point, and he played for Chelsea as well. So I'm getting a little bit excited because I'm like, fuck, bingo. A big name player, a guy who played for a big club. But, and then he sends me the footage as well. And I watch the footage, impressive footage. Guys, he's a stud, superstar. But I don't know, something in me just told me, look at the date of this footage. I look at the footage, the date. And shout out to YouTube, man. I'm really glad YouTube shows when the video was posted. I look at the date. The video was posted in 2015. Now I'm freaking heating up and I'm fucking pissed off because I'm like, this guy's gotten my hopes up so much because, I was sure that, all right, we can definitely work with this guy. And then I hit him back. I'm like, you just sent me video footage from 2015. What the fuck do you expect me to do with this? I know I'm swearing a lot, guys, just pardon the profanity, but, it's how it is in the sports industry, man. If the language is too much for you, I'd advise that you go listen to another podcast because, here we swear when we want to. All right, so I hit him up with the message, man. I'm like, you sent me footage from 2015, what do you expect me to do with this? And he starts, choking on his words. I'm like, were you just taking chances? Were you just trying to see, how much detail I pay attention to? And he didn't answer me back. And then I'm like, and what's funny is he put so many demands about this player. He's like, this player's demanding $1.2 million per season. He wants an apartment, a car, and all that shit. I'm like, on video footage from 2015? Fuck out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. And I told him, either ask your player to give me updated footage or don't contact me at all. And guess what? I haven't heard from him since. So my point that I'm trying to make is, some players will take chances, basically to see if agents are paying attention or if they do pay attention to detail. And man, it's just something that we got to watch out for. All right. So players, make sure your footage is up to date before you contact the agent because the clubs will definitely check. Clubs pay attention to detail, guys. I mean, if a team is going to open its checkbook up for millions of dollars, millions of rands, millions of euros, you best believe, man, that they're going to do their due diligence and they're going to make sure that, they're not being taken for a ride. Okay? Very important, man. Very important. And, such a message, like I said, it goes across all sports, basketball as well. There's a big culture in basketball too, where, guys are just focused on the highlight reels. You can't focus on the highlight reels only. It's important that the teams are able to see the players' work rate up and down the court. Don't get me wrong, man. The dunks and everything, they look cool as fuck when you watch them on YouTube. But you got to understand that when teams are now viewing the images, they're not going to be... Obviously, they're going to be impressed by the player's athleticism, by his dunking ability, by his speed and everything. But they're going to need the full video footage to check your work rate, up and down the court, your passes, your assists, everything. Your triple doubles, everything that all the stats that are recorded during a basketball game. Same as rugby. Teams are going to want to assess the work rate you do in your position. So if you're a wing, teams are going to want to assess your work rate. How many tackles are you making? Are you cross-covering? How much, how frequently are you joining the back line? They want to know all those things, guys. They really want to know all those things. So this is a message to every single athlete on a team sport. That if you have the desire that, you want to take, you want to go ply your trade in another country, you got to make sure that the team is able to identify and look at you and be like, we want this guy. Because that's how it's done in the pros. Sometimes teams assess you over a number of games. They're not going to just look at one game. That's why it's also important to make sure that you have more than one game. Full game. At least have about 2 or 3 so that a team is able to assess your consistency. Because it also does happen that, you pick your best game, a team views you and they're like, all right, yeah, this guy, he was on fire. But then they're like, all right, but we need to see more. The second or third footage is just to see your level of consistency. That's just what it is, guys. Because at the end of the day, and you got to understand from the athlete's perspective, like if you're an athlete, you got to understand from when you're looking at it from a team's perspective, that, you know, a lot of money is being spent to get you guys over. All right. The team's having to pay for your flights. They're paying for your rent, because players don't pay accommodation when they go play abroad. And they still got to pay your salary. You know, so it's an investment. It's the same way as how any other business would operate. Every single entity or business wants to make sure that they're getting a return on their investment. All right. So that's why all these resources are critical in the recruitment phase. They're extremely important. All right. So so that was our topic for today, man. And I thought I definitely wanted to get it out there so that, you know, agents who follow and listen to my podcast, as well as players who follow and listen to my podcast, can know what's expected of them. Because you have a lot of athletes that are maybe coming out of academies or coming out of, you know, college systems, and they are looking for opportunities outside of their country. It's important that they know what's required of them. And for agents coming into the game, it's important to know what to look for when recruiting a player. Don't just recruit a player on their say-so, on what they claim. All right? Transfer market values or resumes. Google, now you can search as well. You can research the player as well. And also their video footage, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Vimeo, or whether it's on Dailymotion. Fuck, all these 3 platforms should actually be paying me money for, you know, shouting them out so much. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's a point that I'm driving home, is that the recruitment and marketing period is one of extreme importance, is one of extreme sensitivity, because there's a lot of money moving around. And it's important that it's done right, and that every single party involved is well prepared. All right. So this is our podcast. This has been our podcast, Sports Biz, from an agent's perspective. And I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoy bringing all this content to you guys. And I look forward to seeing you in episode 8. And always remember my catchphrase. On Sports Biz, from an agent's perspective, we don't only talk sports. We fucking lived it. All right? Have a good day, good eve. Doesn't matter where you are. I'll see you soon. Peace on the next episode. Cheers.